If you've been looking to get this Bosch Axial Glide miter saw, then this is the review for you. I'm going to lay it all out here, why I chose it, and what other people's comments are about this. Let's go ahead and get started.
DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself. Today on DIY with Chris.
We're going to start our DIY with Chris video review template. This is our in-store purchase. Actually, we had to buy it online, but through Home Depot is one of the authorized dealers for this. This is the 12-inch Bosch GCM12SD model, which uses the Axial Glide system. They also have some rod sliders, but I did not want to try and get one of those. The price for this in Home Depot was $649. No sale on this one. It was just, I've never seen a sale on this one. They don't carry in-store. I've looked in both Lowe's, Home Depot, a few other places, and I cannot find this model available in-store. It's considered a special purchase. And with that in mind, I can't get my usual discount on that, so this is something I had to purchase online. Amazon does have this also. The listing that I saw with most reviews on it has it listed for $642.49. Related items for this: there is a 10-inch version of this that also uses the Axial Glide system, and it is much cheaper. So if you're looking for something just a little bit cheaper than $650, then that is another model that you could look at, and it is also highly rated. I have seen this one as a better option, and a lot of people have said just take that extra chunk and buy the bigger model because it's going to allow you to do a lot more projects and get you further longer. There is a crown stop that's available on Amazon, which is a cool little feature. You can look it up yourself if you're interested in that. There's also a length stop, which allows you to continue extending your pieces there as you're cutting. And there is the gravity rise stand that is available for these miter saws, which is Bosch brand. I've looked at a few different miter saw stands, and Rigid was actually one of the highest rated ones. However, they said that their wheels really suck for most of the reviews that I saw on it, that they just wobble too much. They are decent sized wheels, but they're very wobbly. And I've also seen a bunch of complaints about, it is also a gravity rise, the one that I was looking at and I'm talking about for their customer reviews, that when it is locked in, that the saw will actually slide, and then the wings also don't lock in very well either. So when it comes to the Bosch version, which we will be getting for this in the future, most of those rumors were dispelled for this one, so I didn't see any problems with the wheel wobble. I didn't see, multiple people commented very specifically and said, hey, I have the Rigid or other version of this, the gravity rise saw stands, and these are the problems, and all of those were discredited for this particular model that I'm mentioning here, and said that that is not a problem. So definitely something we're looking for in the near future here. So the main paragraph in the description on the Home Depot website is just talking about the easy to read bevel and other features that are on it. We're going to skip down to the bullet points to talk about the Axial Glide system, which allows your saw to work in compact spaces and saves up to 12 inches of workspace glide action, which is the problem I have with my current saw. I have to have it away from the wall. It has the expanded cutting capacity. So with it having the 12-inch blade, and then it has the dual bevel system, it can cut pretty far. It's supposed to be one of the leading in class for cuts for crown molding and other angle cuts as well. Up front bevel controls, that was a big thing that sold me on this one, which we'll be showing you once we unpack it, is instead of having to reach all the way to the back of the saw, we can do it from up front. Square lock quick release fences, high precision square lock fence, aligns the fence to 90 degree to table, and it requires no adjustment. One touch lock unlock to slide fence for added support. So a good thing, integrated expanding base extension, 60% more left to right material support than leading competitors, 40 inches left to right. Ergonomic ambidextrous triggers, that is something that is also nice, being able to do it from both sides with soft grip. Large form-fitting ergonomic handle provides comfort for all-day use. And this does not come with a laser or a light, but it says laser ready. You can get that washer guide for it. I don't personally use lasers. I do like the shadow cast system that is available on DeWalt, and if I could get that and install it on this, then I absolutely would, because it shows as you're getting ready to cut your piece, it shows both sides of the blade. So it shows the full curve of the blade as you're coming down and doing that cut, but it's not available for this. It's only available for the DeWalt pieces. Unfortunately, if they ever make something like that in the future, I will absolutely be installing it on this one. The depth is 31 inches according to the website, 22.5 wide, and the height is 24.25 inch. The weight is 65 pounds, so this is a big item right here that you probably don't want to be toting around too much, and that is why I'm very interested in the gravity rise miter saw stand to take out on the work site and make it more mobile. Ratings for this is a very highly rated miter saw, and I definitely didn't want to get a compound one that you can adjust and do much larger cuts on. On Amazon, it has a 4.7 star rating, average from 725 reviews. You can see the link there to that. And on Home Depot, where I purchased it from, it shows a 4.6 star rating, average from 706 reviews. So that is still a very high rating across 1,400 separate reviews right there. Approximately a 4.6, 4.7. So that's very good, and you can see the link there as well. The 1-star reviews for this saw mainly all talk about it not being perfectly calibrated right out of the box or having difficulties with calibration. People have been through multiple saws and then just decided to go with a different brand. I believe DeWalt is really the biggest competitor, and usually one of the only ones in this particular category that usually outbeats this particular saw when people are purchasing it. But I definitely like the Bosch a little bit more because of some of the details and reliability, and it ended up on the top spot, overtook DeWalt in several of the review blogs that I was looking up for 2020 specifically, and other people's comments regarding that. So contents, as it shows on the website, are the saw, 60-tooth blade, dust bag, and wrench. Warranty is a 1-year warranty with Bosch. Bosch has a pretty good record of honoring their warranties and working with you in order to get your stuff fixed. Most of what I'm seeing in those forums for Bosch tools is that you generally don't have to use those. That's not always the case. Everybody's going to have a different experience with those, but is usually a very reliable item. When it comes to electrical or corded machines, I'm not going to stick to one particular brand, but for this particular one, all of the reviews that I was reading, and the fact that it has the Axial glide system, which is supposed to give you a lot better cuts long term with less adjustments and give you better straight out of the box cuts for calibration, that is why I chose to go with this one over any other ones. It's going to allow me to work in a much more confined space. Bosch does a pretty good job at responding to significant concerns on the Home Depot website and have left contact information for further assistance. Contact us at 1-877-BOSCH-99, which has the number there, 267-2499, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Other reviews that are listing the GCM12SD is the best miter saw are right below there, and then you can also see this chart here that's available on the website that has all of the other metrics that I'm not going to go over individually. So let's go ahead and rip into this box and see what we have here. You will see a hole here on the top. That is that's because of the on-track delivery system that Home Depot used to deliver this, and they just decided to drop it out the back of their truck. So as I'm opening this, we may find some damage or something, but that is not Home Depot's problem. That is the delivery driver. So I wish that I had more contact information for them so I could leave them a wonderful review about their horrible service. Okay, so right up top in the styrofoam, we're going to see this clamp items to table surface. We have our dust collection bag. We have a pretty thick manual here. This is at least a 1/4 inch thick, so that's a lot of information there. We have a tightening knob here. That is pretty well packaged, so even if they did drop it, if it has the same amount of padding on the bottom, I think that we will be alright. And the hole was on the top, so I don't think that anything was damaged right off the bat. Here comes this heavy saw. I don't see anything else in the box, just the saw here. And this is quite the machine. Something that I did see was in a review was that the older model of this had a rubber 90-degree chute, and so it allowed for different connections for dust collection systems to be put in there much easier. They said that when they moved to this plastic version, it just makes it much more difficult to connect up different types of dust collection systems, so something to keep in mind there. We're going to go ahead and start the assembly of just a few components that don't come on it. As you first do it, there was a zip tie here that you just need to cut off, and then you can feed this knob right in. Again, we have the one clamp. There's only one, unless I've missed something, so just the one, but it just slides right in. It does have a very textured or cleated base here, so it does grab on pretty good in here. And then it just sits there, and you can do your adjustments, so you can move that to either side if you want. And as I'm loosening this, you'll see it's not actually coming up anymore. It's because it just keeps on sliding further down into the base here in the back. Now it's starting to move. And then we have our dust collection piece, which I am going to be using for now because I do not have a dust collection system at this time. It does have these little red tabs with knobs on the end, and those do need to lock into place. So there's one on both sides, and you'll just need to keep that in mind. You'll have to depress them if you want to take it off. This does swivel, which is pretty nice. And those are the only three things that didn't come on it. We'll start going over a lot of the features. Best place to start off on, I guess, is up front here. A lot of controls right here at the very front. Your main control and your main safety is going to be this knob that is right here on the left-hand side as you're looking at it. Flip up this knob, and there's a whole lot of instructions just all over this on both sides and everything. So if you get a little bit lost, then you can just use those reminders as the instructions that are right on it. It is pretty rigid, so you can just lift up on this, depress this button here on the bottom, and that'll allow you to rotate the miter. Once you feel like, and it does have stops that are in there, you can actually see the indents on the bottom, so you can just lift up, start sliding, and just move it to the next stop. If you're doing something in between those stops and want to lock in, then just use your knob again, and that'll keep it from moving. But we'll put it right there at the 90-degree stop. Now, if you want to change your angle here, then we'll lift up, disengage that lock, and then you can twist this knob either left or right. So if it's just sitting right in position, then you may need to wiggle it a little bit to get that knob to disengage. Once you do that, then you'll have range of motion to the left and over to the right. If you want it to go the other way, then you'll have to continue using the knob, and that'll allow you to go the other direction. So it does have stops right there. So it does do an auto stop at the 0-degree mark and at the 45-degree. Just to give a little bit better view of this knob back here, I'm going to go ahead and there's a knob on the back of both of these. So I can pull that out, tighten it back in place. But it has pretty good range of motion. It comes out to right here, and it also has a safety wire on the back to make sure that you don't lose these pieces. They can come completely off if you need them to. And we'll loosen it here, push that out here on this side. And this should give you a better view of this piece. So this knob has the barbell that goes left and right horizontal. We're going to pull it out and turn it to where that barbell is now vertical. And then as we still have our, once we have that trigger released and we're able to move, it will auto depress and lock into a very specific spot here, angle for your crown molding, and so it is locked into place. So even though I haven't depressed it anywhere else, it is locked into that position. It'll do it both here, and then if we come, so release it again, and then if we start going the other side, it'll do it the same way. So it does auto lock bevel on both sides. So that angle for the crown molding is at 33.9 degrees, which it actually says right here on that meter as well. That covers all of these particular components up here. So again, I really liked the fact when I was watching the reviews for this that all of my controls are up here for the most part. The only thing that I have to reach back for really is this right here, and I'm probably not going to be using that lock for crown molding very often. So, but either way, it's just a reach straight back instead of having to reach around the back of the saw like my other one has there, or many other models. Okay, so we have the lock here. Press it all the way down and lock it into place, and then you can release to let it go. We have this knob here, which you can tighten down. So this is going to be a saw stop. So right now, even though I've depressed that, it will still go all the way down. The key to this is you just push this piece or pull it out, and then that places, that cants it to where this piece will hit it when it's coming down. So you can adjust saw depth cuts using this particular bolt here, and it's just off of the rotation. There's no particular stops here. So that is a very nice feature. We have a blade stop if we're having to do maintenance. Then we have this red button right here. If you depress the button and start turning the blade, it'll lock into place once it hits that rotation. If I let it go, it'll rotate again. If I push it and rotate it, just keep on rotating it until it locks into place, and then I can release that arbor bolt and we can change the blade as needed. I really like this guard and how it is clear. A lot of the other ones I've looked at have colored guards, but I like how it is clear so I can actually see what's going on behind it, and I very much like also these little wheels to help it slide along the track as it is down. So for your safety to engage, that is going to be this piece down here. If I try and depress the trigger, it is locked right now. It will not go, so you have to slide it. This is the ambidextrous piece that I was talking about. You can either slide it to the left or to the right. Either one of those will disengage it. Next thing is going to be these little pieces. The same thing on both sides. If you pull this towards you, that'll unlock our extension piece and slide out. That's as far as it goes right there, but I love how this is nice sturdy metal and rods, no plastic there to it. And then we just push it back to lock it in place. Another very nice feature about this particular saw is we can go from a sliding miter to just a stationary using this piece right here. So it is locked into the stationary position right now. If I pull this piece up, it now allows me to continue the sliding portion using that axial system. When it comes to these dust collection chute right here in the components, if I have my slide guard in and I'm trying to use the sliding function, I actually have components, whether it's the guard or the other components here, and they will hit that fence. So if I change my angle here, say right there, then it'll still allow it to finish, but again, you could get caught on the other side as well. So keep that in mind. Something else that the instructions talk about is this particular piece, which is supposed to increase the accuracy of dust collection as we're using this, but it can hit these different pieces. Being that it is rubber, it is very malleable, and so it is okay if it hits those. It'll return to the original position, says the instructions, but you can take this off if you want. I'm going to leave that on there. The last component that I want to show you here, which is a very nice aspect, is that hidden right here on the back side I have my Allen wrench tool, and this tool has different sizes on each end. It also fits into this portion. It is labeled on the front end as the glide movement controller, so it fits in right there. Just another thing to note here is right on the base it says how to calibrate this, which is something pretty important straight out of the box, but readily available right on the machine. Good thing to note here is that our shop vac that we have, the standard hose that came with it, fits perfectly inside this dust chute here, as well as the extension hose that we have for it. So this is the best shop vac in the world. It has a Bluetooth connection and I can turn on and off away from the vacuum. I really love that shop vac, and we have a video for that on our channel if you want to check it out. The instructions that come with it are pretty in-depth and provide a lot of really good information. Everything from the getting to know your saw and showing everything that is included in it, to the cutting capacities, which is very good information to know before you get started. And another thing that we thought was worth mentioning was the assembling the dust collection system. And it shows different ways of rigging up the dust collection system to work better in your shop. And that's just within the first 19 pages. So a lot of information available in this particular manual. Has multiple languages available to go over the same information, but very in-depth product manual with lots of really good information. You can see the phone number there again, their official website, the product code here, GCM12SD. This is just a bit of a comparison to what I'm replacing there. So I had gotten this 10-inch compound sliding miter saw, which is the Chicago Electric from Harbor Freight, and I've had that saw for several years now. No real problems with it. It's just time to upgrade and get something that's going to have a better cutting capacity and going to last me for several years to come. So just a little bit of a size difference. That is a 10-inch and this is the 12-inch, so that's going to be a portion of it, but just overall much bigger station and everything. A lot better quality there. So we'll go ahead and get this unplugged, get the new one plugged in, and give you some cut shots. Alright, we're going to go ahead and cut this piece. This is a 2x6. It's pretty old. It came off of an old deck, and I have it cut, or I have it set up vertically here just to show the capacity here. And here we go. That was quite effortless in how it cut. It was very smooth and gave me, just with the stock blade, there's a little bit of fibers coming up here. But overall, this is a very smooth cut. It went through very effortlessly and left a pretty nice finish here.
DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself. Today on DIY with Chris.